Welcome to this short lecture on how to use Google Classroom to engage with your class to conduct tests and assessments. As we've been creating videos and sending them assignments and lectures through Classroom and YouTube over the last few days, it's time to give them a test to ensure they have learned what they ought to learn. In this video, I'm going to show you the class that I'm engaging with, the 6th semester students with the subject microprocessors and microcontrollers. As you know, this is my classroom and all the interaction that I have would be under the tab called Streams, and all the interactions with the students would be here. The lectures I've sent them, comments that I've sent all across to them, the notes that I shared with them, and the tests that I give them will be in one page. As you know, the next tab would be classwork, and this is where I could create assignments and tests for them. We'll be looking at this tab, and this in specific, we're going to be talking about assignments that have multiple choice or correct answers and wrong answers that Google can do evaluation for us and give us a score that can be imported directly back into the classroom for ensuring that the students have learned what they ought to learn. So assignments are generic assignments where you can send them an assignment, tell them to submit it on and before a due date. That's generic assignment. A quiz assignment is where you can have multiple choice questions and students can choose the right answer. Google will evaluate it for you and give you a scorecard. A question is a simple paragraph answer where you give them a question and they reply back as paragraphs. And these assignment and questions have uniqueness where you can have them evaluated in such a way. There's a feature called originality report. Google will check to see if students are copying their answers or doing it on their own. So that's a feature that's available. You can use that also from time to time to ensure students don't copy answers from others as well as online material. If you want to share material with your class, you can use the option called material. You can reuse a post to send them reminders, and you can classify each segment as topic. For example, you want to talk about the introduction, unit-wise introduction and examples, out of topic, within syllabus, and out of syllabus under topics. Next tab would be your students in your class, which should be under the section called people. You can have more than one teacher engaging with a class. In this case, it's me, staff was handling the subject earlier, and the HOD, Mr. Raghunath. Marks is where the scores come back in case students take up a test or an assignment and the scores are populated. Either it could be you evaluating it or the Google evaluating it for you on your behalf. In this session, we're going to talk about how to create a multiple choice quiz assignment. Question papers have different patterns, and the most common pattern that we see in SPT is the first 20 marks, which has multiple choice questions. And students do struggle getting the multiple choice questions right. This could help you prepare those students in those aspects. So this is going to be a title of your interaction with the student, the instructions regarding the interaction, any attaching supporting documents you want, you can attach it. And here you have a blank quiz. There's an option that says grade importing, which means once this test is taken, the grades can be imported back into your classroom.google.com, and Google will keep track of your students' progress throughout the semester. When you open up this blank quiz, you have multiple options. The most options that are available, I'm going to talk about 3 options, which is checkboxes, multiple choice, and drop downs. So multiple choice is when you have more than one answer that you could give to the students to ensure that they got the right one, and there's only one correct answer for the particular question. So the question is going to be there, and you're going to give them multiple choices to ensure that they are not distracted, and there's only one right answer. How do you mark the right answer? Choose option answer key and choose the right option and click on done. Besides this, you can also add an answer feedback. In case the question is they choose an incorrect answer, for example, instead of option 2, he chooses option 1, you can say why option 2 is the right answer. You can educate him on where he went wrong. So in case he gets it right, you can congratulate him on helping him to relate his learning in this video session to his assessment to ensure that the learning cycle is complete. In case you want to tell him why he went wrong, you can also attach links to your videos or video clips from YouTube that you have in your archives to this particular response. Once that's done, you can click on save. And the same thing, you can add when you want to add another question, choose another question. In this case, we'll do something called a checkbox option. You have multiple answers for the same question that are right. In those cases, you choose checkbox. For example, there are option 1, 2, 3, 4, and option 1 and 2 are right. In that case, the student, when you choose the answer key, you'll have to choose both answers to get it right. So then you choose option 1 and 2 are right, and then why you justify it. For example, he gets it wrong, he should tell them that actually that's not only one answer, there are 2 answers to get it right. and Google will do the evaluation for you to ensure that the scores are kept in sync with the evaluation. Once that's done, I wanted to talk about scores for each question. Each question can be given a different weightage. For example, if I have 10 questions and I have 10 points for each, my total points for the question paper would be 100. Sometimes I could have 5 points for one question or even 0 points for one question to total up to 100 or how much ever I want, and the percentages are calculated by Google. So the third option would be a drop down. When I have a paragraph answer for three or four answers I want to give and want to ensure the student gets the right explanation for the answer, then I can choose an option for drop downs. And that's available in this drop down called drop down. So the same thing, it's something similar to the same type of question where Google does the evaluation for me. The question stays here, question 3, and I'm going to choose option number 1, option number 2, or option number 3. I can edit them to be whatever answer it's going to be. And I'm going to add the answer key. The answer key will tell you that the answer is a specific answer and why that particular answer was chosen. And I'm going to add points to this particular question, say another 10 points for it, and I choose done. And there's another option called required, which means it's a question that you want to ensure students always answer before going to the skipping the question paper or marking it as complete. If you choose this for all questions, all the questions are mandatory, and the student has to choose one answer to be able to complete every answer, question that has a required option, be able to submit the question paper once he's done with the test. I'd like to show you a few features that are available besides this as an overview. In Classroom, we also have a drive. All the notes that you have shared with the students, when you click on the drive, it'll open up your microprocessor Classroom drive. Example, the class test that I sent across to students is there, and the notes I sent across to students is there, and the blank quiz that I'm working on at the moment, it's saved up automatically in Drive. You can also create quiz similar to this by using Google Forms. How do you do that? docs.google.com is the URL, and go and choose Forms. When you choose Forms, you have options like a blank form, you also have a lot of templates, and you also have a blank quiz. But the problem with this is when you do use a blank form or a quiz option, you would not be able to integrate it back with Google Classroom effectively. So when you do it through Google Classroom, it automatically links it up for you. So the moment the students are done with the test, the scores can be exported or imported back into Google Classroom so that the learning management software feature of Classroom keeps track of the student progress. You can use a blank quiz or you can use a blank form. When you do a blank quiz, the only difference is when you have a Google form, when you go to settings there, it says quizzes and says make this a quiz. This is the only difference between a quiz template and a regular template. So this is enabled when you choose a quiz template. So if you want to work on a blank form and send them a test or a review test, which is not going to be evaluated or linked with Google Classroom, you can send this directly, enable this option, make this a quiz. And you can even shuffle the questions so that all students get a different order of the questions so that they don't copy from each other in case of sitting and working together in a single classroom. So this is how you do it. Now, you might have shared the material with the students through Google Drive that's available for them to access. And once you have the test given, you would keep track of how many students have taken up the test. You would see a report saying that one student has handed over his assignment or his assessment, and how do you keep track of that? How do you keep track of it? Is when you click on import grades, it imports it from your Google form, which is your forms.google.com, which is your question paper. Now this is the tab I'm opening up my question paper. This tells me, this is the questions I had prepared, the 10 questions with 10 marks each, totaling up to 100. The 10 questions with multiple choice, as well as there's one that has multiple answers for a single question, which is question number 2. In this case, he has to choose all the correct answers that are applying to be able to get the question right. So the total points for the question is here, which is 10 into 10, which is 100, and I have 4 responses. So each student has a response, and what is captured is available in summary. Now you tell me, it gives you analysis automatically, which tells you at what grade students have scores. There's one student who's got a 50% score, another student's got a 90% score, and there are 4 students who have submitted their responses until now. And which are the questions they got right, which are the questions they got wrong. If everybody's getting the same question wrong, you know for sure they've not learned that particular topic. You can repeat that question in the next assessment to ensure that they've learned it after you've shared the appropriate videos with them. So this is ensuring that the teaching learning process is complete. You can also look at the questions individually, and you can also look at the individual responses from each student. So I can pick the student from the drop down here, or I can choose the arrow mark here, 1 of 2, 2 of 2, sorry, 2 of 4, 1 of 4, and look at their answers to see where they went right, where they went wrong. Once it's done here, you have an option called release score. When I click on release scores, I can send the scores across to the student and an email, and send him a response. I mean, it's an optional message you can add saying that this is your score and anything that he has to learn. You can send him a customized message from the form right here. And once this is done, he gets an email that this is his scores. Besides this, when you look at how you have the forms done, when you go back to your classroom, you can import the scores directly into your marks tab on your classroom. This is where I talked about. I'll show you that option there. This is how it opens up. You have an option that says import grades. This is only available when you use a form linked with the classroom. If you don't link these options, you don't get this option called import grades. When I click on import grades, all the scores that students have worked with and who have submitted, all those scores get imported into the classroom. And now the scores reflect here. I can edit it. They're not permanent numbers. I can edit it. I can send them individual emails. I can return it back to them to redo it. I can have it evaluated, and these scores are tabulated over time. So this is the first assessment that I've given them. As time goes by, if I go back to the marks tab, 8051 introductory test, these are the scores. So if the student has submitted in a different form, example, he sent it on an email because he does not have online access, or he gave you a written assignment, you can evaluate it and put the scores in manually. So all these scores are out of 100 because my question paper was set for 100 marks, and I can have multiple exams conducted, assessments conducted, and all the scores will be tabulated, and these scores can be totaled and averaged, and Google will give you a result analysis to tell you exactly which student is progressing and which question he got wrong, and all this is documented all throughout the semester. At the end of the semester, these scores could be considered for their internal marks at the end of the semester. So this is the feature I would like to introduce you to, and I would encourage you to use this feature to ensure you have periodic assessments for all the lectures that you've shared with the students, so that they are in shape, learning it, the theory, the practical, whatever they have to learn. And once the assessment is done, you have a score to say that they have learned what they ought to learn. If you have any questions, please reach out to us, me or anybody else in the department. We'll be able to answer your questions, and feel free to try it out and ensure that you have completed the teaching learning process where you've taught them the lectures, conduct an evaluation, and Google does the evaluation for you, and you get a scorecard back to your mailbox linked up with Google Classroom. Thank you for your time and have a great day.